about three or 4 days before they put a smoke shop. It was a Sunday afternoon, I remember. I was out there on the front, and the pickup truck came in, so I walked around the pond and I met them on the other side of the pond.
Yeah.
It was Boots sitting in it and another guy. And I said, Boots, what can I do for you? And he started this, what he always told me in the other smoke shop. And he kept telling me after he arrived that this is a stolen land. This is my land. This is a disputed land. He kept telling me this. So when he arrived here with, later on I found out it was his cousin in a pickup truck. Boots was sitting on a passenger side. And he said, Ernie, I'm going to put up a smoke shop over there on the front because this is my land. This is a stolen land. It belongs to me, belongs to the Six Nation. This is our land. And I did like this. Boots, this is official. I don't want you here. I didn't invite you. I'm not going to fight with you, and I'm not going to stand in front of you. You sell your cigarette, you're out of luck because I don't smoke. And I turned around and I walked away from them. I came all the way up to here and turned around. I looked at them and the guy was putting the gear shift into reverse. But in between walking from there to here, they were sitting there probably thinking, what should we do now?
Yeah.
Well, I think 3 or 4 days later, he moved in. And I didn't know it until, that's why I showed you that come over and I looked at, I don't see what's going on in front.
Right.
I didn't know that the smoke shop was there until I got in a car and went to see my neighbor just down the road, and when I went around here I saw the smoke shop over there. There was maybe 10 or so very rough looking Indians, you know, they were, whatever they were doing, they were looking at me like I'm an alien or something.
On your own property.
Pardon?
On your property.
On my property. That's where the grass is missing now.
Right.
That's where the smoke shop. It was on a trailer. I looked and I just pulled out with the car, went over to my neighbor, and a few people were there, were all upset. Well, what's going on in your place? And I said, I don't know, I just noticed now that there's a smoke shop. It's going to be a smoke shop. Because I am on the back, on my workshop, I don't see anything what is going on the highway or in front of the property. Well, you've been there. You see, I only saw that part of the highway there and a little bit there.
Right.
And I never came out. And so he was there. Next day, I went over to the smoke shop. Now, I already know him because of many times I stopped in his first smoke shop. I call it the #1 smoke shop. I went over there and I said, Boots, you cannot stay here. This is my land, and I will not allow you to stay here. I said, you came here yesterday afternoon. I said, now, any minute you will have the media here. The newspaper will come, a picture will be taken, and then the television will come, because this is private property. You can claim it. I respect your claim that this land belongs to you, but don't fight with me. Your claim, if this is your land, you have to fight the government. As I have been encouraging you that if you have a legitimate beef or claim with the government, you have to fight the government, because they never give you anything unless you fight for it. I am against violence, and when I say that you have to fight for it, I don't mean fist fight or violence. Now, as far as Boots is concerned, like I just found out when I was in court, that this guy has already a longer police record. 1991, he raped a girl or a woman, and he served 5 months in jail. And then dangerous driving and whatever he was doing in Brantford, he got a conditional discharge to keep the peace and to behave himself. And because of that ignorance, he thumbs his nose at the judge, or he doesn't respect the law of the country.
Okay.
After he arrived, like I told him, well, you cannot stay here. The media will congregate on you. You're going to make your point that this is a disputed land, because he kept hammering me that this is a stolen land, this is a disputed land. It belongs to me, belongs to the Six Nations. So next day, the media came. By that time, I was in touch with Jesse Porter.
Right.
That he told him that I invited him. And then I talked with Jesse Porter, and he says, Ernie, don't worry, I'm going to stop that rumor. And he did call me back that, Ernie, ignore it, I stopped it, nobody is going to say that you invited him. But in between, I faced the Indian, Boots. I said, hey, Boots, did you tell Jesse Porter that I invited you? And he said, no, I never said. I never even talked with him. He denied it. But he was lying. When he got me implicated, and later in a newspaper, the free newspaper, he said that I cooked up the whole thing. Because this is how he defends himself. Because the Six Nations didn't support him. And under pressure, what I got suckered into this publicity pictures, shaking with him, standing by the sign that we agree to disagree, and shaking with him. The media, the Turtle Island reporter, I don't know, they had 2-3 of them there, they suckered me into it. And I didn't know what I was doing, really, under pressure. That how am I going to get rid of him? I was thinking of Douglas Creek Estate, that 3.5 years later, the land is still occupied, and the police doesn't do anything about to remove that Indian from Douglas Creek Estate. How will I remove the Indian? I am alone. I cannot turn to the police because they don't do anything. So I was under tremendous pressure. I made bad judgment when I shook hands with him. And then there is if you turn over, there's a book over there, One Dead Indian.
Yep.
Can you see that? The red one? Bring it out, because I don't know the name of the reporter. Was Peter Edwards. He came and he talked with me and talked with Boots. Then we are sitting each other, and the Spectator came and television camera came. There was a tremendous publicity what he was creating.
Right.
And under the pressure, I became part of the group, that I was there, instead of walking away from it and disassociate myself from them. I was always very friendly with him, because I am alone here.
Yep.
I never used a harsh word. I never said to him, hey, you get out of here. Because then he would have said that, make me. And then I would have had no choice getting a backhoe and bulldoze them into the ditch. And then somebody gets hurt, and then I am in deep, deep trouble. So I maintain a very friendly atmosphere with him and all the occupiers. There was always 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 of them around. Now how can I be militant with them?
No, I understand.
I have taken a lot of abusement from them, and I didn't respond because I knew right from the beginning that sooner or later either the county or maybe the police will get involved. So next day the media congregated, and unfortunately, as I said, I got suckered into this publicity shot.
Right.
And it's Peter Edwards who wrote this book. So a week or so later he came and he sit at the picnic table talking, drinking coffee, and he wrote an article in Toronto Sun. No, Toronto Star. Isn't it?
I'm not sure which one he works for.
I think he's a reporter for Toronto Star. Yep. Anyway, under pressure, I really couldn't think clearly how to handle this situation.
Right.
And the Indian Boots, as I said already, that he's very streetwise. He knew that he can exploit me because I didn't stand up to him when he arrived. So I talked with him the following day, and it could have been the next day or the third day. I told him, Boots, you made your point. You're in a newspaper, or television was here. You have to move. Go wherever you want. You cannot stay here because this is my land. As long as I have the deed registered in my name, I am the one who pays the taxes. That's my land. And you remember, I told you, I don't want you here. I didn't invite you, and I'm not going to fight with you, and I won't stand in front of you. Say, you have to go somewhere. You call your newspaper and tell them that I am moving because it's a bad location to save your face. Well, he agreed with me. He said, Ernie, in a couple of days, I'm going to go. I get out of here, I go somewhere else. And then he said, a 4-letter word, fuck it. No, Ernie, I'm gonna stay. I'm not gonna go. And I got stuck with the jerk for 6 months. He came on the first week of June, and the smoke shop was removed on the first day of December. You count the months in between. I kept my cool. So he was here. Many times I went to Tim Horton, Boots, you want a coffee? Yeah. I bought him a coffee. There was a picnic table, we sit down and we talked and talked. There was always 3, 4 Indians around, young ones. And then eventually I found out that they are his sons.